Support for Colorado Today comes from Credit Union of Colorado. With access to over 30,000 ATMs and a mobile app, they're dedicated to offering the services of a big bank with a heart. Learn more at honestlygood.org.
Support for Colorado Today comes from Safeway. Their pharmacists are here to help, offering a wide range of vaccines including flu, COVID, pneumonia, and RSV immunizations. Visit your local Safeway or schedule online at safeway.com/pharmacy.
Happy Halloween! The forecast looks decent for tonight if your celebration involves being outside. A bit chilly, but no rain expected. Unfortunately, if you made your reservations months ago to be able to celebrate at Casa Bonita this weekend, you may not get the full experience. Performers are on strike over wages. That means no magicians, no roving actors in gorilla costumes, and no cliff divers. The restaurant is offering a free drink instead. I'm Bazi Kanani. Coming up, aggressive tactics this week by immigration agents in Colorado. Free our neighbors! Free our neighbors! Free our neighbors! The confrontation between protesters and ICE agents got physical, and now the governor is speaking out. Then, childcare services for hundreds of families here could be disrupted.
We've never experienced anything like this in 60 years.
You'll hear how the government shutdown is affecting Head Start. Plus, you may see ofrendas and candy skulls out this weekend. Hear the backstory of Dia de los Muertos celebrations in Metro Denver.
The people are just, not only having fun, they're revering their ancestors.
It's Friday, October 31st. Here's the news in Colorado today. Extremely maddening. That's how Governor Polis described a lack of transparency from immigration officials this week. He was particularly upset about a situation in Durango where agents detained a father and two kids as they were on their way to school, and then ICE used force on protesters there. The protest started Monday morning.
The father works 2 different jobs at a hotel cleaning company. He says that he works 80 hours a week, roughly. They've been in the community for about 18 months.
Scout Edmondson is a reporter at the Durango Herald.
They have this pending asylum case. They're trying to get citizenship, and apparently they've been doing everything pretty much correctly.
The father is 45-year-old Fernando Jaramillo Solano from Colombia. He and his 2 sons, ages 12 and 15, do not have criminal records in the U.S., according to a caseworker who's been helping the family since they arrived in Colorado.
They pulled them over and then took them to a federally leased detention center in Bodo Park, which is like our industrial district here in town. Protesters set up a human chain. They had their arms linked together and their legs linked together, so it would be really hard to move them with force. Every time a new wave of people came in to do the shift change for people in the chain, they were like, do not fight back. This is a peaceful protest, but we're going to make ICE's job as hard as possible. And we are going to use our bodies to block the federal agents inside from getting out.
Protesters camped out overnight, and at around 6 a.m.
One agent who I watched, this woman with white hair, was videoing him, asking him, what would Jesus do? And he took her phone out of her hands and threw it across the road.
You can't take my phone. You cannot. Oh, that's illegal, sir. That's freedom. Hey!
And I guess I didn't hear this because I was a few steps away, but I heard that he said, she's assaulting me, and she then was grabbed by the hair, put into a chokehold, and dragged across the street to this kind of a grassy embankment, and then threw her headfirst down the hill.
Call 911!
More protesters arrived. They continued to block the gates of the detention center as well as the street. The federal agents were getting ready to move the family to another facility, and in a confrontation captured by a local resident on Facebook Live,
People are being...
the federal agents ordered protesters to disperse, and when they wouldn't, the agents used pepper spray.
Rubber bullets were being fired off into the crowd. At one point, someone said that an agent hit someone else with their car.
ICE said that Jaramillo Solano and the kids were transferred to a processing center in Texas.
Seeing agents coming into the crowd and doing what they did has really shaken a lot of the community members here.
The fallout from all of this has continued for the past couple of days. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation announced they'll examine what happened between protesters and federal agents. In addition to the governor, the La Plata County commissioners also expressed frustration with ICE's lack of transparency. Durango's police chief said the department, quote, operates independently and remains fully committed to protecting every member of our community with compassion and professionalism.
ICE emailed us the other day, and they didn't really answer our questions. They said that they respected First Amendment rights, and they also called some protesters extreme.
Durango residents, meanwhile, started a GoFundMe page for Jaramillo Solano and his family that's raised more than $50,000. As the government shutdown continues into November, it'll affect programs that use federal money to provide childcare to families with low incomes. We're talking about Head Start, like at the Community Partnership for Child Development in Colorado Springs. Head Start includes daycare, so parents can go to work. It also provides education, meals, and health services.
Many families that we serve face food insecurity, so they're relying on their children having a meal in our classrooms every day and snacks.
Amanda Rogers helps manage this center.
We also make sure that children are healthy and well. We help them complete dental and medical exams and help them get treatment if it's needed. And we also support our families. We have family advocates who are meeting with families and helping them set and work toward family and education and employment goals.
CPR reporter Jenny Brundine has been figuring out if those services will be shut down or disrupted at this center and beyond.
It's likely the federal government won't deposit its regular check to keep this school open. It's one of 4 early child care centers serving nearly 1,300 children that are on the verge of financial crisis.
There are dozens of other Head Start centers in Colorado, but these are the only 4 that are scheduled to get their federal funds tomorrow. In addition to the impacted center in Colorado Springs, Jenny found programs in Loveland, Fort Collins, and Adams County are all but certain to miss their federal funding deposit.
We've never experienced anything like this in 60 years.
This is Heather Friends, executive director of the Colorado Head Start Association. The good news, Jenny reports, is that these 4 providers have scrambled to find funding to fill the gap for the month of November. They'll rely on a mix of reserve funds and school district and county resources.
I think for directors, knowing that even if they do find this gap funding, how they will repay it. So will the federal government come back and give them the money and then they can pay back the county or the school district? I think that's a big concern.
And if services must be paused, Friend says that could have a cascading impact on families that could be difficult to bounce back from.
We're worried about families really having to leave the community or change jobs and then discontinue services with our Head Start programs, which is always, there's a lot of paperwork and a lot of administrative things on the back end to get children in a secure slot.
It could also affect these Head Start providers' ability to stay staffed in the future if employees have to be put on leave. If the shutdown continues later into November, Jenny reports thousands more families at other centers will also be thrown into uncertainty. This weekend, in kitchens across Colorado, people are cooking the favorite meals and pouring the favorite drinks of their dead relatives. Here's Arlo with more on the ancient holiday being celebrated.
Dia de los Muertos is the Mexican celebration of life, death, and memory. And a big part of this holiday is building an ofrenda. It's like an altar to honor those who have passed.
Hopefully seeing his picture memorialized further in some way.
Celebrating him in that way just feels special to me.
Kind of like she's around for a little bit longer.
That was Ari Snow, Samantha Reifer, and Robert Ramirez explaining why they submitted photos of their loved ones to be included in the enormous ofrenda that our friends at Denverite and Art District on Santa Fe are putting together in downtown Denver. Public celebrations of Dia de los Muertos like this one might seem common now. You might have even seen companies trying to commercialize on its popularity. But back in the early 80s, the celebration was something on the fringes. And for Chicanos, people of Mexican descent in the U.S., celebrating Dia de los Muertos became more than just celebrating ancestors. It was a connection to identity.
I think for the Chicano, the connection with Mexican indigenous culture is what made it popular as well.
Carlos Hipolito Delgado is a professor at the University of Colorado, Denver. He argues that the holiday's current popularity comes from Mexican artists trying to understand and establish their own identity, one that is not defined by being colonized by the Spanish.
The ability to connect with a celebration that was truly indigenous, that was uniquely Mexican, but it also spoke to them through the art.
The art? It's the iconography tied to the holiday, bright yellow marigolds, multicolored papel picado streamers, the elegantly dressed Catrina, the impersonation of death itself. All of that caught the imagination of artists.
The art community down there is, just wonderful.
Denver artist Patricio Córdoba first bumped into Dia de los Muertos by accident when he visited Puebla outside of Mexico City in the 70s.
And then all of a sudden we're in this middle of this procession, And I talked to the people, and it was very, very moving. And there's nothing like this in Denver.
That experience stuck with him. So a decade later, Patricio helped start the first public Day of the Dead celebration in Denver. He teamed up with the Pirate Gallery, Cubo Radio, and the Chicano Humanities and Arts Council. He describes that first year as pulling teeth.
When people came, they kind of didn't really know what to expect. And then the children were sort of intrigued, I guess, because, death is not, in this country was not treated like that. You see, killings and murders and stuff.
Still, Patricio kept at it, helping the community understand what that celebration meant and how to take part in it.
Writing up what altars are supposed to include and how you do it, what the celebration's all about.
They've even added unique twists to the tradition, like adult piñatas that look like politicians.
We also put in shooters of tequila and bourbon and whatnot for the adults.
Now, to be clear, Patricio and other Chicano artists didn't bring Dia de los Muertos to Colorado. A form of the holiday has long existed here among Mexican and indigenous communities, stretching back to when Colorado was part of Mexico and even before that. But this public event, it helped take the celebration out of people's homes, from small, intimate altars to large, city-wide celebrations. And that visibility has had a profound impact on how some people view themselves and their culture.
I remember going over there with my kids when they were small.
This is Mary Valencia, who attended some of the very first Dia de los Muertos events in Denver.
I was one of those people who grew up and said, I'm not Mexican, I'm Spanish. I feel like I didn't become a Chicana until I came to Denver.
How did this celebration contribute to you discovering this Chicano identity?
The more I learned about it, I thought it was like a beautiful tradition. We have a lot of ancestral pride in my family.
Pirate Contemporary Art Gallery still hosts its show every year, and you can see there Dia de los Muertos altars starting tonight until mid-November. And the larger event, including those adult piñatas I mentioned, next Friday, November 7th.
As we head into a weekend of celebrations, remember to set your clocks back an hour this Saturday night for the end of daylight saving time. Additional reporting for today's show came from CPR's Allison Sherry and Denverite's Andrew Kenny. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday. I'm Bazi Kanani. This is CPR News.
Support for Colorado Today comes from Safeway, where you can shop online and get easy delivery or free pickup. Get the same prices, deals, and rewards as in-store. Shop the weekly ad, clip deals, and earn points at Safeway.com or in the Safeway app.
Support for Colorado Today comes from Credit Union of Colorado. With access to over 30,000 ATMs and a mobile app, they're dedicated to offering the services of a big bank with a heart. Learn more at honestlygood.org.